Welcome back. It's time to run you through the dailies this morning, and we've got Dr. Olubunmi who joins us now. He's a senior lecturer, Department of Mass Communication, University of Lagos. Thank you for coming on this morning.
Good morning, Chambali.
We'll start with Vanguard newspaper today, and Babajide Dikibo, police to rearrest main suspect. This was after that instruction was given by the president recently that they should reopen this case. But look at the writers now. Recall investigation files, plaudits trail Buhari's order to reopen cases, probe should be extended to Abiola, Kudirat, others, Balarabe, Babatope, Afenifere, and this story, you see it on page 9. So, what's your impression of this now?
The first question is, what happened to the previous investigation? The public was not briefed about it. How did the case just die down like that? The #1 law citizen of the Federation was killed in curious circumstances in our investigations. And then everything just died down. And there are all the high-profile murders, like the Kibo and the rest of them. It just, to me, is part of the impunity in this country. That then what happens to the common man? If it could happen to the big shots in the society, and the cases you never know how they ended. Well, the presidential order, I think, to me is very good, and I hope that it will not go the way of previous investigations.
But people then ask, does that then mean that our laws have respect of persons? Institutions are supposed to work.
It will appear as if some people are above the law because of the way we treat issues. In other climes, even the prime minister, a former president, have been jailed for corruption and other cases. But in Nigeria, we never see the light at the end of all these investigations. So I think it is very sad.
But what about the police? I mean, why was this case closed in the first instance? Because if the writer here says, plaudits trail Buhari's order to reopen cases, it means that those cases were what? They were closed?
I think we all Nigerians are guilty. We are all guilty because we kept silent. And nobody demanded for information. And so that was if it happened once, twice, 3 times, and also the people will just say this one will also go the way of previous investigations.
Oh dear.
I think we should, in this country, we should cultivate the culture of asking questions. And fortunately, the Freedom of Information Act is there for us to use to demand for information on the extent of the way. Why was the file closed? Maybe some people in government that were connected interfered and all that, maybe. Otherwise, there's no reason why the case should be closed.
Well, the story you will find it continues on page 9 of the paper here today. But beneath that lead story, FG not tackling woes of communities. This is credited to the Speaker of the House.
Well, that looks curious to me because Dogara is a tough shot in the government. And, I've not read the story, but the headline could be misleading. That's my own,
because in what context?
Yes. If he said they were not doing enough, one could accept that. But they're not tackling. I don't, we had the Ministry of Niger Delta Development, we had all this, and they vote money, government votes money to them. So, have you found out what they did with the money?
Well, page 5 is where you can get that one. But look at this, above the nameplate here. Inflation hits 16.5% in June, highest in 11 years. Continue to raise questions about the economy.
Yeah, when much money is chasing fewer goods, you expect prices to rise. No production. Why is there no production? So many factors and all that. So,
but in this case, is there much money? I thought it's far little money that's out there now.
Well, that's the way economists That's the economists explain it. Where too much money is chasing fewer goods, we have inflation. That is, you pay much more for the goods and services that we consume. Well, it's one of the indices of economic measurement.
Let me bring this because, I mean, who knows, it might also escalate it to the universities. FG scraps common entrance interview test into Unity schools. We also saw that similar thing with post-UTME. I don't think ASU is happy with that, are they?
Well, like yesterday, ASU criticized the federal government for abolishing screening. Well, you will recall that the decision to allow screening was taken by the National Council on Education, which is the highest decision-making body. So I was surprised when the minister went on air and announced the cancellation, because there was no meeting of National Council on Education, which consists of the minister and the commissioners for education of the 36 states. So it's a major policy issue, and I think the minister alone could not have taken such a decision. And before they got to that level, there were, universities presented data to show that some of the people that are coming with high JAMB scores, they couldn't perform. So it raised questions about the integrity of the UTM. So I think it's something that we need to. The decision of government wasn't based on evidence. So that's what I look at.
And then if you flip to the back page, you get Vanguard Sports. But the big news there is NFF names Le Guin new Eagles coach, and then the writer, "We're anxious to be in Russia 2018." That's ascribed to the NFF chairman. So there you go. That's it with Vanguard today.
We pick up Nigerian Tribune, and that's what we have next. It seems they have the same big headlines as Vanguard. On the front page is still the Bola Ige story. Excitement over reopening of murder case is all on page 5. Afenifere, Regbeshola, Adebanjo, Okurumu, and others react. But I think I want us to pick on this one. Buhari decries slow pace of corruption trials. That the president is worried at the speed.
Well, coming from a military background, where decisions are taken fast, you can understand his frustrations that things are not as fast as he expects.
He got the AGF to advise him on this, doesn't he?
Yes, it does, but it's actually, if you look at the attitudes of lawyers asking for adjournments and all that, and justice delayed is justice denied, as the lawyers will say, right? I also expect a more speedy trial process. Maybe that's why people are calling for separate courts to try corruption cases. It could be right, so that we could get over all this, because there are so many corruption cases that if Buhari were to stay there 20 years, he may not finish all. Wow. Because there are so many areas that have not been touched. EFCC has not been satisfied in the university system. A lot of things are going wrong.
Talking about the university system, speak to this headline: FG owing universities 623 billion naira, and this according to ASU.
Yeah. The agreement of 2009, up to now, government has not implemented 10% of it.
Up to 10%?
Up to 10% of it. So it's just, that agreement to me is just paperwork. It's not working.
Do we have the capacity to implement it?
We do. It's just the will that is absent. Okay, look at all the resources. Look at all the resources that individuals just, cutting away from the system. They are more than enough, to fix these problems. More than enough. So, it's
this sort of story has been trending, and it's still making front page, even though today is Tuesday the 19th. Melaye, Remi Tinubu seeks police protection. These are senators of what we call the hallowed chamber.
Well, hallowed by name, but their conduct, one would expect more decorum from people at that level. But we're very sad that, let me just say, we expect him then to lay examples for the people.
All right, I think that's what where we leave the Nigerian Tribune. We'll go to Abuja. Mark, where?
Oh, yes, indeed. I have for you the Daily Times up next now. And you see right there on the front page, judges disappointing government, public. That's according to the president there. You see that right on the front page of the paper. Says corruption cases filed by government are not progressing as speedily as they should. Alleges some judges are allowing lawyers frustrate speedy determination of the cases. Things certainly need to change if we're to make success in our collective fight against corruption. Judges will no longer strike out or dismiss corruption-related cases for want of diligent prosecution. That's according to the Chief Justice of Nigeria. Page 7 is where you find details. And if you look just beside the nameplate, there won't be no-go areas in PIB. What do you make of that statement by the Speaker of the House of Reps? You think that that's just another promise that might go unfulfilled?
Well, it's very sad that the previous assembly could not get it through, and the whole process has to start again because it didn't get to the final stage. They made promises last legislative assembly, but they never fulfilled them. I want to see that there are too many interests involved in this PIB, and to me, I think that's what is frustrating it.
But should there be a system wherein they don't have to start again? You continue from where the previous one has stopped.
Well,
would there be anything wrong with that?
Yeah, well, that is the law. If an assembly did not finish the business, the whole thing has to start all over again from stage 1.